Join. Great. Um, so thank you everyone so much for joining us for our second installment of our CAZCAs Summer Education Series, we're calling it. Um, we have Heather Finden today speaking with us. She is the Stormwater Post-Construction Program Manager with the City of Phoenix Planning and Development Department. She'll be talking about water conservation in Arizona. If anyone has any questions, you can pop them in the chat and we'll be monitoring that, or you can save them for the end and we'll address them all towards the end. But without further ado, I'll hand it over to Heather. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you to CAZCA for having me. And thank you to all of the attendees who said, I absolutely want to learn more about this and join today's summer workshop series. As Mary said, I am with the Planning and Development Department with the City of Phoenix. I have been working with the city in various roles, specifically with environmental and natural resource management for the last 23 years. So this is a natural fit to bring those worlds together to talk about creating spaces. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, oh, I forgot I had this part in here. So a little bit of overview on what we're going to cover together. Unfortunately, we only have an hour, but I want to get a little bit of more feedback from you joining us in the group. Talk about how Phoenix has been changing over the last few decades. See how we can help with some of those changes using green stormwater infrastructure, residential and commercial is incentives. Obviously, I didn't do spell check, conservation programs, and then some resources for you. So the first question I have, and maybe we could go ahead and put some of these items in the chat. Why did you sign up for today's session? Go ahead and put that in there. Now, of course, I can't see the chat, so let me
I can
open it
monitor the
up.
chat too.
Don't be shy. Oh no, it might be disabled. Oh, okay, here we go. Because we live in a desert, curious of alternative strategies for implementation. Fantastic. New to water conservation. Hi, Lily. Heather seems rad. Yeah. Lori. Oh, I know Lori wants to learn more about stormwater. Okay. Best management practices. Fantastic. Those are all great answers. Learn more about stormwater. Okay. Now, this is a big question. I know that this can be sometimes polarizing with this word, but what does water conservation mean to you? What does it mean to you? Is it that lecture you got when you were 5 years old not to leave the water running when you were brushing your teeth? Cool. Okay, close. Saving water in landscapes and home, ensuring water supply, finding ways to use less water in our daily lives, saving water for future generations. So it's a little bit of all of those things. Oh, you're all okay. There's been a delay and you are fast and furious now. Using what is needed, ensuring there's enough for ecosystems and humans. Fantastic. Last question. You didn't realize there was going to be a quiz today, did you? Okay. What are you hoping to get out of today's workshop? Besides getting to know a little bit more about me, because this will also kind of help maybe with going through some of the slides to learn. That is my goal 100%. New ideas? I have new ideas for you. Infrastructure, community efforts. Learn what City of Phoenix is doing. Okay. Well, then no one is going to walk away disappointed. Oh, grants. Okay, we are going to be touching on that. Understanding of our resources. Well, fantastic. Well, I think we're going to achieve all of those goals, and I think we're going to be able to have a really nice, robust conversation today. So let's hop to it then. Okay. So we are a changing city, and we're not only a changing city as far as what we look like, but we're also experiencing within the city higher temperatures. Like this is just a little snapshot of downtown. And this is what it looks like now. This was the former civics or the area that is the civic space park downtown. You got these nice grassy open areas. You have some trees. Look at all these people walking, having a great day. This is like the 1970s. And fast forward to today's Google Earth view. We still have some walkers, but look at all of this additional impervious surface. Um, Extra concrete. We have the light rail going downtown. Certainly a lot different. Um, we are seeing less winter precipitation, falling in snow in the higher elevations. There's going to be less snowpack, which is going to contribute less to our watershed of the Gila and Salt rivers. Um, what has been in the news most prominently are going to be the drought conditions along the Colorado River Basin, the tragedy that's happening up on Lake Mead. In Phoenix, you could probably, those of you who have grown up here, think, gosh, was it always this hot? We're seeing a lot higher overnight low temperatures, this heat island effect that we're experiencing, these additional hot surfaces are giving off that heat at night. It's taking a lot longer to cool down. And we're just changing the development. We're having a lot more um, housing coming in. We're expanding, we're growing, we're already at over 540 square miles now in the city of Phoenix. So it is a fact that we're changing how we look. So it's important for us as a city and also for the community to also modify some of our behaviors and try to um, go into this transition period looking to some other alternatives. Um, so one of the ways that we are doing that is with green stormwater infrastructure, and that's what I want to focus today's topic on as it relates to water conservation. So this is just a snapshot on the efforts that the city is putting forth, both internally and externally, to our customers to really reinforce and put forth the mechanisms necessary to help us grow and expand and to also really foster that green stormwater infrastructure mentality. Um, it's important to note that currently all of these items are voluntary. There is only one mechanism that the City of Phoenix has currently that is a requirement-based effort, and that is with our rezoning stipulations. So there are certain properties that are going through in development or redevelopment, and they are unable to meet what would otherwise be landscaping setbacks or other landscaping requirements. So our village planners do have the ability to require at least two green stormwater infrastructure installations on those properties. So again, we can really help enhance those sites and also really make them beneficial to the community. And at the end of the day, the property is really going to have a nice and aesthetically pleasing um, property on their hands as opposed to something that's going to have just a lot more concrete and asphalt. So as you can see, the city, it has taken us a long time to get here as well. It goes without saying that things don't happen overnight in the city, but we're really putting forth the effort and to really encourage and promote the use of green stormwater infrastructure. As part of an effort, it we have a mission statement for our city working group and for all of our departments that we're going to grow and thrive by leading innovations in resilient, sustainable, natural infrastructure that protects water, reduces heat, and improves the quality of life for its diverse residents. So that is what we are charged with. That is our mission statement. But some of you are probably thinking, okay, Heather, you're talking about this green stormwater infrastructure. What is it? How are you defining it? So this is our long drawn out definition that's in our Phoenix City Code now. But really, what it is, it's these design elements that are installed on a smaller scale that are going to help capture and temporarily detain rainwater in and around the areas where it falls. It can either infiltrate and percolate into the ground, or it could be moved downstream.
Hey Heather,
Yes.
sorry, I don't think your slides are changing. It still says,
Oh no!
okay,
Thanks
it,
for telling me.
yeah.
Let's get caught up. Okay, here's all the stuff I was telling you about. I'm so sorry. Okay, that that'll teach me to have three screens, right? Okay. So here's our commitment to green stormwater infrastructure and all of our policies, documents, and procedures. That has been a work in progress for the last decade and change. This is our mission statement on how we are committed to green stormwater infrastructure. Whew, and now we're caught up. This is our definition again. Um, So again, the green stormwater infrastructure that we are talking about is going to be those small scale features that are installed to capture, infiltrate, percolate the rainwater in the area where it falls. Okay, that sounds great. Let's go ahead and do this. But what benefit does it provide? Well, it actually provides a whole litany of co-benefits for the area in which it is installed, which are things that we absolutely want to be addressing in and around the city of Phoenix, again, to respond to our changing environment. First and foremost, it has a variety of environmental benefits. We're going to be having more shade that's going to promote cooler localized temperatures. It's going to help with that urban heat island effect. It's going to improve air quality. And it's going to allow more individuals to get out there and recreate and to want to be in these outdoor spaces because it's more comfortable to do so. Um, for the wildlife in and around us, it's going to be supporting vegetation that's going to attract pollinators, um, birds, hummingbirds, bees, um, the monarch butterflies that we want to have. It's going to really promote and support a lot more biodiversity of this wildlife. And from a water perspective, it can help improve localized flooding. It can help you reduce your reliance on potable water for irrigation, and it can help filter stormwater pollutants that would other be picked up and transported as water is running over these impervious surfaces, the running down the roads, picking up all the oils and the chemicals and the fecal material, the doggy poo that's not picked up, all of those things. It's really going to help improve that stormwater quality. Because unlike most other cities, especially in the East Coast, we have a separate stormwater system. The rainwater falls onto the ground. It goes into a catch basin with, if you're lucky to have those in your neighborhood, and goes into the storm drain pipe and is discharged directly to the Salt River. There is no treatment involved in that at all. So that's why having something like this in place can absolutely have lasting effects, not only on your site, but as it continues on its journey to the Salt River. Okay, so here are the range of measures that we are going to be talking about today. I know that all of you are probably going to want to say, yes, I want to do all of it, but I don't have $50,000 or an endless budget and time, energy, and effort to do that. But that's why they're considered a range of measures. So what we're going to be looking at today are ways that you can install green stormwater infrastructure or rainwater harvesting systems in and around your home for your benefit. And there's going to be two areas that we're going to be looking at. So the area is going to be that is on your private property. Um, and then there's another area, especially in some historic districts, that we kind of call it like a landscape strip. It's this little detached area between the sidewalk and the road. And again, this is more prevalent in some of the older homes. And so that's more often than not actually considered city right of way. And it's under the city's ownership, but it's the residents' responsibility to take care of it. Now, if that wasn't confusing enough, we'll talk about it more. So those are the two areas that we're going to talk about in your home when you were looking at water conservation. Again, I know you said you want to do it all. I can feel it. But there's some basic questions that you can ask yourself when looking to incorporate these in and around your home. Most importantly, what is your budget? How much do you have to spend? How much do you want to spend? You don't have to do it all at one time. These can be projects that can be undertaken over time. And most of them, if not all of them, are technically do-it-yourself projects, but some of them can be a little bit more tricky um, when you might want to hire a contractor to do the work for you. I am very happy to see that there are a lot more landscape architects becoming more familiar with this and actually reaching out to us at the city to get guidance on ways that they can incorporate these features into residential properties that they're working on. So that's really exciting. And then again, we're going to kind of look at the space. What do you have to work with? What we want to do again is we want to make sure that these features are not directly adjacent to the house. The last thing that we want to be doing, especially with some of the soils in and around Phoenix, is to put a lot of water or to direct water right next to the foundation of your home. So a general rule of thumb is to have it about 10 feet or so away from structures if we're going to be capturing and allowing water to infiltrate. But these are the best places where the water is going to be falling and running off. So it's a little bit of a dance there. Um, we're coming into the monsoons, as we were talking about right before this talk. Rain should be coming. These are fantastic opportunities for you to get out, see where the rain is falling, how does it travel on your yard. Is there certain areas that there's more prevalence of ponding or flooding? Are you seeing these things over and over again? So that's really critical, it's kind of like a do-it-yourself drainage study. What do you want your yard to look like? I know that the name Green Stormwater Infrastructure conjures up all of these images of like a lush tropical jungle. It doesn't necessarily have to look that way. It doesn't have to be something that is heavily reliant on water, but it doesn't have to be brown and boring and basic either. So kind of what do you want your yard to look like? Um, where are the utilities on your property? You've got to be very careful about where the water meter line is running in, if you have sewer lines, power lines, other things. So, of course, before you do anything, you're going to be calling blue staking, having those things identified for you. And as much as you want to be able to probably do anything to your property, always check in with your HOA or if you have any other property management companies. And sometimes we do we do recommend too, if you're in a historic neighborhood, just kind of checking in, making sure everything that you're doing is meets those requirements. So now that you've done all that, you've obviously gonna sketch it all out. Let's go through and talk about some of the things, the range of measures. This is probably going to be the most cost-effective option for you. This is the most direct rainwater harvesting technique, which is a rain barrel or a cistern. So these you do want next to your house because as the water's falling, it's coming down, it's hitting the roofs, it's running off, it's not being absorbed. Um, you can have these gutters installed and have a downspout going directly to a rain barrel. You can have a really nice small one that costs about $50. I have seen individuals who have several 100-gallon ones in their house, and that is their life. And they've really taken this approach on a whole nother level. But you can even start small. Even the smallest amount helps. I know it doesn't rain a lot here, but when it does, we usually get those nice larger intensity rainfalls. So we're going to collect the water in there. You're going to want it elevated so that you have that gravity feed. You can have a spigot to where you can fill up your little watering can, or you can set it up to a little irrigation hose so you can water your plants. Um, there are important considerations because we do have mosquito problems. You certainly don't want to create a hazard or a mosquito breeding facility. So there are more detailed recommendations on the installation to make sure that you're keeping out um, those insects. You want to screen it out, and you don't want to collect a lot of debris and litter and things like that clogging it up. But this is a really simple do-it-yourself. Again, $50, go to a hardware store or online and just get a rain barrel. So how's the water going to get in there? Having a gutter system, not only does this help facilitate capturing all of that water that's just going to run off and go to waste, but it's also going to help hopefully protect the foundation in and around your house as well by preventing it from going into the area right next to the house. It does not have to go into a rain barrel or cistern. You can have a downspout and you can direct it um, away from your house. So again, this is going to be sloped to the point where it's going to be going into a structure that we'll be talking about in a second, like a stormwater harvesting basin. Again, we're not going to want it to concentrate here. We're going to want the slope to bring it down and away from the house with a little bit of erosion protection there. So we have some riprap or some rocks so that we're not causing a little cavern right there at the downspout. Okay, the next one is, I don't want to say it's contentious, permeable hardscapes. Um, so again, one of the key components of green stormwater infrastructure is you are reducing the amount of impervious surface in and around your home. So instead of having, a concrete driveway, concrete walkways, concrete next to an asphalt road, next to a concrete sidewalk, having all of these things, what you're doing is you are putting in surfaces with small voids in between the surfaces, or the materials themselves are permeable, which allows water to infiltrate into the ground instead of running off down the site, um, flooding your yard or going out into the street. So these are really good solutions in smaller areas for like retrofit projects, or if you're doing, redoing your landscaping, usually your driveways, patios, areas that are not going to be heavily trafficked. The city does not allow them in the right of way, so that is unfortunately not going to be an option for this one. But they're really great again at reducing pollutants and assisting with those flooding issues. So it's generally a very easy solution. Um, you do need to do some preparation. Um, Instead of just slapping them down on the ground to the subsurface. And I could show you some resources on that for, scarifying and disturbing the surface underneath and providing a place for all of that rainwater to run. So while this is a mock-up, we do have some real world examples. And kind of the neat thing about this is there's so many different options for you. So you can really design it for the area that works for you. So again, here we have some kind of brick pavers that the water will be going through the voids. You're getting a little more fancy here as we go down to these little kind of, they almost look like an eye-shaped brick. These are some permeable concretes that are typically used in like some parking lots. You could put that in your driveway. Um, and then you can also even have some rocks with some concrete stepping stones that are broken up. So really a lot of great options available for, again, reducing that surface on your house. Um, they can be expensive depending on how far you wanna go. Certainly, some of these higher end, more engineered concretes can be pricey, but it depends on how big of an area you're working with. Um, it's important with anything that they're maintained appropriately. One of the things that will inevitably cause this to not operate is lack of maintenance. So, clearing out those void spaces, sweeping or vacuuming, removing trash, weeds, debris, and other things from those spaces at least once every 6 months is really, really helpful. Okay, so the next feature that we're going to talk about, this is probably something more along the lines of what you were thinking with today as a stormwater harvesting basin. So these are going to be, shallow depressions that collect rainwater. Again, the picture we showed earlier is when it was coming down the downspout, going into that little rock channel and actually being directed into this stormwater harvesting basin here. So it is going to um, need to be designed so that the water is not standing after 36 hours. Because you really don't want to risk having that mosquito breeding, and then you don't want to, again, cause a problem with that water distribution and have ponding and flooding. Um, this is a really great solution for front yards, backyards. Next to impervious surfaces, so right along a driveway, is a great place to put it as well. Um, and it is going to more often than not be vegetated, like with some really great plants. You're going to want to not necessarily plant them right in the middle here because that's probably going to be the area of most standing water, but you'll have some small plants, maybe some succulents right on the shelf, and then even a tree. So this is a great way, again, to introduce landscaping into your yard but help reduce your reliance on potable water for irrigation. It's going to help shade and cool your property. It's going to improve the air quality in and around your home. It's going to provide those really wonderful walkable spaces, and it's going to reduce the amount of water that's going to be running off into your property. So here again are some real world examples. This one is actually adjacent, and this is pretty large for the one on the right here. This is shout out to our Fairview Place Neighborhood Association for installing that. Um, Really wonderful. I failed to mention that usually the bottom has some sort of rock there again to allow for the water to infiltrate. And you want to help keep that soil beneficial and moist. So you can put some mulch down there as well. And then the one on the left is a homeowner's property. They had their entire yard done with Green Stormwater Infrastructure. So again, it's a picture I showed earlier is a more recent picture, but this is how it happened. So a really great way to support this vegetation in and around your yard, kind of going away from that, dare I say, oleander, bougainvillea, um, more engineered type look. Okay, vegetated rock bioswales are also a great option. These are going to be similar to your stormwater harvesting basins, but these are going to be open, kind of shallowed channels. And the way that they are designed is they are designed for the water to run in um, through a curb opening and then travel down the length of the bioswale, watering the plants, and then exiting as well. So this is not meant for that more that sustained retention. It's just kind of allowing the water to come in, slow down, and then exit and go on its way. So you're going to see these more often installed again in these like landscape strips, sometimes parking lots or in front of other buildings. Again, all of the same benefits of those stormwater harvesting basins. You usually want to have about 5 feet or so of width. So some of the smaller landscape strips might not be suitable for this. But again, we are capturing that water that would otherwise just run off and go down the street, using it to sustain these vegetated areas, all the while providing all of those co-benefits that we discussed earlier. So what does this look like in the wild? Again, we see these more often in some of the larger areas. Parking lots are great spaces. Can't think of a better impervious surface than a parking lot. So the water is again directed in here. We have the plants or the trees not in the middle because they're gonna have too much saturation there. So we're going to have them on the side, but we're going to have these wonderful assortment of plants. This one is more of a neighborhood installation here in the lower left-hand corner. I did cut off the upstream, but the water flows down the street. It goes into these base bioswales, and then it comes back out and goes on its way. This one was actually installed in response to some pretty significant flooding in an intersection in a residential area. And I can say that after 15 years, the tree is still there, the tree is still alive. They do have some undergrowth, and the flooding has been mitigated. So again, a really great example. Okay, Heather, you're sitting there talking about water conservation and how you want us to do all this stuff, and now you're talking about all these plants and making stuff green and happy. Okay, this is where we get to um, the part about being more um, intentional with our uses and finding ways to utilize the water that we do have available. Nothing is better than, and I'm going to push for native plants. We certainly have an assortment, a litany, a plethora. We have so many Sonoran Desert native plants that are available to the public for use, and there's nothing better. And for this, they are adapted to the rain patterns and the harsh Phoenix climate. They use less water and fertilizer and pesticides than other landscape plants. Not that we recommend pesticides. Um, Again, they're going to prevent the stormwater runoff and improve your air quality, and they're going to support that greater abundance of wildlife, and not to mention that they're beautiful. For each more visible ornamental plant, there is a native counterpart. And certainly there's an understanding that if some of these are not readily available in a nursery or in and around your area, desert adapted plants are a great option too. So this system works together with not only the placement, the construction, but also the installation of the proper plant materials. We're not going to be planting a cottonwood tree in a stormwater harvesting basin and say, look, we're conserving water. Um, but doesn't go to say that you're not going to have to water them at all. So it is important for the success of these to provide a healthy soil environment. Um, and there is an establishment period that these plants will need to go through, but eventually for long-term care, they can be weaned off and help utilize that supplemental water. The project that I mentioned earlier with the bioswales, they do not have irrigation there. They have had to bring out the hose and help it along from time to time over the years, but that particular installation does not have an irrigation system. So again, it's really important to follow the right watering schedule. You want to water for the right time of year. Um, you want to water for the plant. Trees are going to need a different schedule and amount than just grasses and flowers. And you're really going to want to make sure that you fix the leaks as well. It's estimated that I believe it's 70% of our water is used outside, which is why it's so important to focus on this particular area. There are great resources out there to help dial it in as to exactly what the watering needs are for your landscaping and the plants that you have in there. And it also talks you through the different seasons, the different plants, and all of that. So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, I heard somebody talk about, they mentioned wanting some grant information. So I felt again because I'm with the city of Phoenix, I have the information on what we can provide to you. If this is something that you're really considering and would really like to do in your home, um, there is a way that you can be financially compensated for that. There is a whole list of requirements, and I can get that information to you if you're interested. But the City of Phoenix does have a grass removal program for non-residents specifically. So commercial entities that kind of have that non-functional grass out front, maybe just to look nice or to have an area as landscaping. There is a financial incentive for removing that. And there's 25% of the total funding amount available for that. And similarly, if you are a resident and you want to do the same, now it does have to be a majority of the grass has to be alive. Unfortunately, if you just have a dirt patch, you're not going to qualify for that. So these are programs that can be applied for online. There's a whole program requirements listed on there. The application is listed on there, and there is also 25% of the designated funding remaining for that. So that might be a great opportunity to get some money back as a deposit um, in the future green stormwater infrastructure installations. Um, Another option, if you're not looking to go that far yet, this is obviously something that has been brought up for decades, but changing over from a high water use landscape to xeriscape. I've always found it particularly overwhelming because what does it look like? What do I do? What plants do I use? Um, well, the city of Phoenix has actually gone through and taken out all of that guesswork for you. So you can have beautiful landscape that you are not spending 5 hours every weekend mowing the lawn and doing all of this work, and your water bill is several $100s by installing Xeriscape in and around your home. Now, these are just going to be, again, lower water usage installations. And so there's a series of plans that the city has developed depending on the size of your property or a particular aesthetic that you're looking to achieve. And it's almost like a how-to guide. There's plant pellets, there's layouts, there's watering schedules, and it's all put together in one place for you. So again, if you're looking to dip your toe into this realm, there are resources available for you to help take out a lot of the guesswork and eliminate the need for a very, very expensive um, consultant. Okay. I don't think I've breathed yet. Let's go ahead and take a breath. So another project here, we've talked a little bit about removing grass, helping design. Let's get some trees in here. So we do have a community canopy grant program within the city of Phoenix, and it's being managed by our Office of Heat Response and Mitigation. So again, there's some fine print surrounding this. So there are only certain parts of the city are eligible. So it is going to be in areas that fall under underserved qualified census tracts. There is a map online. You can click and say, does my neighborhood, does my house qualify for this? Yes or no. And so, as an individual, you can apply and get trees for your yard, or as a neighborhood, you can also apply if you are in those areas. And again, really promoting those more walkable, comfortable areas while also reducing the local temperature, improving air quality in and around your home, and really providing those shade. So this grant is open and available in the city of Phoenix. Um, to bring it out a little bit, because not everybody is going to be a resident in the city. So our utility providers are very good at providing tree programs. They also have some wonderful workshops available if you want to learn more about care for trees. And then also our Keep Phoenix Beautiful partners have that. Um, there are also a lot of other agencies, Nature Conservancy, Sustainability Alliance, Trees Matter. There are other mechanisms for you to get some trees if you are interested in having um, those native and more drought resistant trees in and around your home. Okay, home stretch here because I'm seeing that chat go crazy and I got some questions. Okay, what resources do we have available for you now that I've talked your ear off for the last 40 minutes? So the City of Phoenix has a new Green Stormwater Infrastructure webpage. It talks about what it is, the benefits. There are a lot of other ancillary components that I did touch on, but there's actually 10 different design elements that can be utilized. Um, there are some permitting considerations depending on where the features are installed and how much of how big a project is. So there's guidance on there as well. And at the end of the day, you can call us or you can also email us if you'd like to if you'd like us to do a little overview of your home and give you some guidance on what that would look like as far as permits and cost go. So we do have this city repository of all the information. What? Oh my gosh, look at this guide. I can't go through this presentation without talking about this beautiful urban desert landscape guide that has been put out by CAZCA and their partners. This thing is beautiful, talks all about native and desert adapted plants. Um, Placement strategies. It also talks about um, tree care, water harvesting, invasive plants, and how to remove those, tree care. It's a really, really beautiful guide. And we can make sure that there's a link available, but they did get some funding to print some more copies. But this is a fantastic resource. If you are into this kind of thing, you've probably seen this book. We've always called it the Pink Book, but this is a beautiful landscape guide. And again, a really nice resource for plants that are adapted to our environment. This is available electronically, and they did also recently update it. So our Arizona Municipal Water Users Association puts this out. These are partner cities in and around the Phoenix area has put this guide out for you. Okay, now we got to toot our own horns here. The city of Phoenix did adopt this Greater Phoenix Metro Handbook. These are where all of the design details live. If you are looking to put things in your yard, it talks about soil preparation, construction, how you slope the sides of your basin to ensure maximum benefits. And then, no, we have a handbook for residents that we recently published as well. And it goes through all of the um, elements that I went over. the design considerations, the installation considerations, maintenance, and then also has a whole section on permitting for the city of Phoenix as well. And then we have information about the watering guidance in there. And then there's so many other wonderful partners that we work with that help us with water conservation efforts. If you want to dig deeper into this world outside of just this particular topic. I didn't know if I would have enough to talk about, but apparently I did. The slide you've all been waiting for. Here's my information. Please do not hesitate to reach out. I am a proud member of CAZCA. I do work with a lot of our member cities. So if there is a question I can't answer for you, I can get you in touch with someone who can. I cannot thank you enough for your attention. And I'm a little nervous about how many comments I saw pop up. So with that, I thank you all so, so much.
Thank you so much, Heather. That was an awesome presentation. I learned so much. The chat you saw blowing up with some technical difficulties, but
Was
now
it me again? Did I mess up my slides?
no, you were
Okay,
perfect.
good.
Um,
Phew. Okay.
but now we have some time for questions.
Yeah.
I I
Yeah,
also want to mention for the landscape guide, I put the bit.ly link and a comment in the chat for folks.
yeah. Copy and paste that, everybody. Um, we do have a question from Lily in the chat. On the install Xeriscape slide, I was wondering if you could tell me where the stat of reducing outdoor water use by 85% is from.
Oh, Lily. Oh, that is a good question. So what I can do is, so this is actually a resource that was put together by our coworkers in the Water Services Department. So I will try to get that reference pulled up and get you an answer.
Great. Thank you. Lily says thank you. And then we have, is there a link to the residential guidebook that was recently published? If you're talking about the urban desertscape enhancement, no, something else.
I'm guessing that's the Green Stormwater one. I can find that and drop it in the link unless you have it easily accessible, Heather.
Oh, I have it memorized. So what I put it in the chat, and what I failed to mention, it is available in Spanish as well.
Great. Any other questions?
And people could feel free to unmute to ask their questions now too.
I was just going to say, I love the ready-made Xeriscape guides. That's so cool. My parents live in Phoenix, so I literally just texted them a link right this second and said, hey guys.
That's awesome. Nice. Well, oh, Julie said, can you briefly talk about restrictions on right-of-way?
Oh, Julie. I actually know Julie. That is a great question, Julie. Okay, so let me pull up the picture, or did I close everything out of course I did. So for the right of way, so again, it is technically City of Phoenix property, but the resident is delighted to maintain it on behalf of the city. So what happens there is an inherent risk when the city says, yeah, go ahead and you can do whatever you want in there. So the one of the ways that they've mitigated that risk is through a maintenance agreement. So the city does require a maintenance agreement. It's basically a contract that you enter into with the city of Phoenix. The homeowner, it is with a homeowner, so it cannot be for a street. It has to be for that particular property. And then what happens is there's a certificate of insurance that goes along with that. Basically, your homeowner's policy to say that you have, liability coverage, and should someone slip and fall into this 1 foot deep hole, there's coverage. And then also if for some reason, the homeowner failed to maintain it, or if there was some sort of problem, the city could come back in and would take over the maintenance of this. Um, so long story longer, there is a plan review that's required. There is a permit that needs to be obtained from the city of Phoenix to install those curb openings for the water to run in. There is a cash bond or a letter of credit and the maintenance agreement. But I know that that sounds awful. Um, but as part of this effort that we are really helping residents and we are encouraging people to install this, we are walking people through that process. And we are basically like your partners in crime. We will make all those connections. We will get all of that put together. We will help you with your plan submittal at a reduced cost. We will make sure that we do everything in our power to help you through that process. So don't rule it out just yet. I know it sounds like a lot. We are working with a customer who is doing it right now. I didn't see her name on here, or else she could probably give a summary on how that's going. Oh no, I think you're muted, Mary.
Ah, so embarrassing.
That's
Okay,
okay.
great. Thank you. We have another question in the chat from Brandon. Are there any concerns with state or private water laws, rights, and
Oh.
or policies with regards to rainwater harvesting, specifically cisterns or barrels?
There is not. That is a great question, and I did not mention that. So there are not currently. You can capture any water that falls on your property um, with the rain barrels or cisterns. I would say the example that comes to mind right now is Colorado, where it's like that is you do not do that, and so thankfully we do not have that. The only thing that is a bit of a challenge is unfortunately, you cannot take the water that's running down the street and bring it onto your private property. You can only put it in the right of way. So that's kind of the line of demarcation there. And as I'm talking and multitasking, let's see who at Lily asked the question. Lily, I don't know if you're comfortable or I can try to get your contact information from the registration to get that metric to you because I don't want to go away without having answered your question.
Yeah, Lily, if you're comfortable, you can just let us know in the chat. We can send over your email to Heather. Does anyone else have any final questions? If not, I would love to thank Heather so much for that awesome presentation. I learned a lot. I'm sure you all did too. And to everyone who made it out to this Wednesday afternoon webinar, we're so grateful to have you. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Mary and Shally, for hosting. We appreciate it. Very nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Heather.